Welcome in the early morning edition of the New Orleans Pelicans. This is the Baddest Sports Show podcast, the home of the New Orleans Saints and the New Orleans Pelicans. And I am very excited. Yesterday, and I apologize because we were supposed to go on last night, and I was not able to go on last night. I'm definitely a truck driver, so I wasn't able to go on last night and for the pregame show. But I've made it my mind to come up this morning, and I'm fresh and energetic and ready to go start my day off because the New Orleans Pelicans came from rock bottom within 2 years. What rock bottom? And there was so much things that happened to the Pelicans in these 2 years from Stan Van Gundy, and we can go all the way to Alvin Gentry even before Stan Van Gundy. And I can sit here and remembering the national media and the campaign against New Orleans. I can remember the campaign against New Orleans and the joke that the national media was making on New Orleans, a small market team. Okay, there were so many people that were trying to get New Orleans to sell a team. There was so much. ESPN was almost every week they were talking about Zion Williamson, and is Zion Williamson will ever play for the New Orleans Pelicans. They were talking about that Zion did not like the organization. He did not want to be in New Orleans. He always wanted to be in New York. There was always going back to the day one draft when it was showing the grins on his face when he was drafted to the New Orleans Pelicans. So there was so much negativity from the Anthony Davis trade. It was that not that far along, and it's amazing. It has only been just about 3 years since Anthony Davis have left the organization, and that's all, folks, and all these other things. It's amazing what New Orleans have been through, and it's and how this team has electrified the city while the Saints are playing terrible this year. And it's amazing that so many people have written off the Pelicans. They laughed about the mascot. A lot of people were not favored with the mascot. They didn't like the mascot. Of course, the New Orleans Jazz was the original name of New Orleans. We was not able to get the original name. I mean, Tom Benson and Mrs. Gale fought hard to even try to pay for the name to get the Jazz back. But I like the Pelicans. I like the Pelicans as their own identity. And it fits New Orleans. It's, the flag, the state bird and all that. It just fit. I actually like it, and I think everybody's catching on to it. But everything about New Orleans was we were just a party city. That it's just a party city that people pass through and urinate on, and that's all we are. No, New Orleans is a basketball city. New Orleans is more than just a football city. New Orleans has rich heritage when it comes down to basketball. Many NBA players that comes from New Orleans. We can go back to Kerry Kittles, and we can go all through Shaquille O'Neal going to LSU. But Chris Jackson used to be Mahmoud Rauf, played with the Denver Nuggets. We can go on and on. Robert Pack. We can talk about New Orleans players, and they're Hot Rod Williams. New Orleans have affected so many great players, and Louisiana have affected so many great players. So we're no longer the laughing stock. We're now on top of the West. And how could an organization come from the bottom and rise to the top? A lot of you guys wanted David Griffin fired, didn't understand the man's vision. So many, like I said, the national media made a mockery of him playing a piano to Zion Williamson. and reports from Zion that was entirely not true. But they tried to make New Orleans to be not ready for basketball. But I tell you this, as a New Orleans born resident, of New Orleans, the Pelicans are showing you how to build a championship. And if you just have a little vision and you just stick with it, and you can win championships, you can even be a contender by just drafting. And they build up so many picks from the Lakers trade, and then hitting with Zion Williamson for the #1 pick. Because we remember Anthony Davis didn't want to play with Zion Williamson. He wanted to go to LeBron. And yes, they have a championship the Lakers can brag about, which I call as an asterisk because of the fact how they won that championship. But I can tell you that the Pelicans organization is much more better off now than what the Lakers will be in the future. The New Orleans Pelicans have built this team from ground up with multiple #1 picks. And they may end up with the #1 pick this year. So one of the things is, how did the New Orleans Pelicans change it around so fast? It starts with owner Gail Benson. Being able to understand that, you know what, we just not going to stand for a Stan Van Gundy. Firing Stan Van Gundy in 1 year. Picking up a young coach like Willie Green. A young man who has energized the franchise. Picking up a young guy who is able to energize the franchise and got him on fire. Getting up there, getting Trajan Landon in the front office. David Griffith, who built championships in Cleveland. Everything starts with the owner. And I can sit here and tell you that the New Orleans Pelicans brand just look at the uniforms, look at what they branding, how they're doing. They're actually reaching out the Gulf Coast. They're not just reaching out in New Orleans, they're reaching out all the way in Birmingham, Alabama. They are actually building something on the Gulf Coast. Something for us to be proud of as out here on the Gulf Coast. And I can sit here and tell you, I am very proud of the organization that was laughed upon and that was being forced. And they were trying to lean on selling the team. They were trying to convince Mrs. Benson to sell the team. And this is why you got to love Miss Benson, because Miss Benson is not selling her baby. She convinced her own husband before he passed to buy the Hornets, which became the Pelicans. And I just think about it, from 2 years of rock bottom, from nowhere to the top seed in the Western Conference. My, how things have changed within only 3 years. 3 years. 1 year to change everything around. And there was a lot of people who had doubt in the organization because we went through Dale Demps. Good morning, Mr. Turner. We had Dale Demps. And, you felt like the organization wasn't going anywhere other than the year we swept Portland. Dale Demps went out, and many fans blame Dale Demps, but I believe Dale Demps was trying to win. He went out there and traded for DeMarcus Cousins to pair up with crybaby Anthony Davis. If DeMarcus Cousins don't have that terrible injury, where would the Pelicans be? They were going to contend against the Golden State Warriors that year. But things turned for worse when he got injured. Remember that the Pelicans swept the Portland Trail Blazers with C.J. McCollum on that basketball team. And then They went on to lose, have a terrible season, losing multiple players. Having Alvin Gentry with his up and down coaching, he was fired. The organization did not stop there. They went to go get a veteran coach, and they realized their mistake. That's what I love about that's what I have to love about David Griffin. He realized his mistake, and that's something that the Saints need to understand. Realize the mistake that you did with Dennis Allen. David Griffin realized that chosen Stan Van Gundy was not the right idea. And he went back and he fired. And he went and redone it. Everybody was ready to fire David Griffin because of Stan Van Gundy. David Griffin said, you know what? I'm not going to let this coach cause me to lose my job. I made a mistake. It's okay. It's okay to say that you made a mistake. It's okay. It's okay. You can retract what your mistake is. And that's something the Saints need to learn from the Pelicans. That's something that the Saints need to learn from the Pelicans. Own up to your mistakes and just go ahead on try it again. You went one way and it didn't work. And in 1 year they fired this man and they went and got a young, energetic coach in Willie Green. And look at Willie Green right now. Look at Willie Green right now. He took the #1 seed all the way down to the wire last year, and nobody expected the Pelicans to be even contending, not even sniffing the playoffs, and they got in. That playoff experience has helped the Pelicans start off strong this year. And last night against the Detroit Pistons, and some may say, oh, that was just the Pistons. So Pelicans had a history like the Saints, losing, playing down to their competition. But I see this year that they are 10-2. They're not playing down to the competition this year. They are 10-2 against subpar teams this year. They are beating the teams that they're supposed to beat. That's telling me that this team is ready to take that next step. Last night, Prince Zion showed you why he's the best player on this basketball team. There are multiple injuries. Brandon Ingram has been out. Well, sometimes we have C.J. McCollum out. We have Herb, we had Herb Jones not playing. Alvarado got hurt during the game. But when you put the ball into this young man's hand, you see why the New Orleans Pelicans drafted him #1 overall. There's no question he was the best player in that draft. And some may disagree with me because they love Ja. I love Ja too. But I chose Shaquille O'Neal any day over Kobe Bryant. That's just me. Because you don't get too many big guys like that in the NBA. They come once of a blue moon. And I'm telling you that the Pelicans did the right thing. And a lot of people was calling Zion Williamson a bust. A lot of them were saying he's a bust because of injuries. And Zion is proven, if you be patient, the same way with Joel Embiid, with the Philadelphia 76ers did with Joel Embiid, the same way. They trusted in this man. They trusted in a process. And it didn't allow other people to force this man back out on the court. Yes, the Pelicans are the #1 seed in the West as of right now. Unbelievable. From a season ago, starting off 2-14. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a job that this, like I said, the best is yet to come. And I'm telling you, if you haven't bought season tickets, the tickets are very cheap. Go out there and support the Pelicans. Right now, the disappointment is right there on Parger Street, right there in the Superdome. Right now, we could just write off the New Orleans Saints season. We still gonna support the Saints, but I think we need to give our money and our time to the best team in New Orleans right now. And I just got to say it. Right now, we got to support the Pelicans. Because I'm telling you, right now, you about to see something special. You're about to see something special. We're about to make a run at the finals. I'm calling it. The Pelicans are going to make the Western Conference Finals. I'm calling it because they have yet to have all their pieces together. And imagine when everybody is healthy, what's going to happen? Let me tell you something, NBA. Take notes because y'all better be on notice. When Brandon Ingram is back and this team, Herb Jones, is back, when this team, the bench is like no other. The Pelicans have a deep, 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 deep roster. They're the deepest roster in the NBA. It showed against the Denver Nuggets. It showed when you got Alvarado putting up 38 points. Alvarado, an undrafted rookie. Like I said, I apologize for last night. I was supposed to go live in the pregame, and I wasn't able to do so. My son let me know. You know what I'm saying? The host of the Batter Sports Show podcast. You know, I'm the co-host, but my son also he made me aware, Dad, you missed the live. So I came back this morning to make a special live. And I'm telling you that the Pelicans are the team to beat in the West. And we got to play the Spurs. We got to play the Spurs 2 times. Y'all go out there and support two times. We got to play them all this weekend, I think. So I'm just letting you guys know that we can solidify ourselves. We can get ahead against the West. And this is the time for us to do it. So I want to thank you guys for showing up. For some of you guys, for those who are going to catch the replay, remember to share this video. Also hit the like. Support the Saints. Support the Pelicans. Let's support the Tulane Green Wave. We're also going to do a special live for the Tulane Green Wave. Okay? The real New Orleans college football team. Okay? We're going to do a special live for the Tulane Green Wave. The real New Orleans college football team. And I understand the love for LSU, but we got to give some love to Tulane. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to do that here on the Baddest. We're going to give some love when nobody else ain't giving it. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to my brother, one of my mods, Derek Turner, for always showing up and showing out. So shout out to whoever's in the chat. Who is ever in the chat who ain't showing their face. I see you. I know there's 3 people in the chat. Whoever's not showing their face, shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? But you know, thank you guys for the support. Hit the like buttons. We are almost approaching 300 subscribers. We started very slow. People are starting to take notice to the Baddest Sports Show podcast. Remember to follow us on Twitter. We are one of the newest podcasts on YouTube. Please show your support. I know that you all got your favorite podcasters, but we all about New Orleans. If you love New Orleans, subscribe to the Baddest Sports Show podcast, and we will subscribe back to you guys, okay? It don't cost that, New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? It don't cost nothing, okay? So we love you guys. We love you guys. We love the support that you guys have been showing over the last couple of days. We are getting a fast surge for some reason. People are starting to catch on to the Baddest Sports Show podcast, and we have seen so many people. It may not be a lot because y'all see that we have 284 subscribers, but you got to understand that we started from scratch, and and we just started doing the Saints season. So a lot of people don't know us. As you get to know us, you'll understand that we open our platform up to everybody. Okay. We open up. It's not about us. It's about the Who Dat Nation, and it's about the Pelican Nation. It's about the Flock Nation. Okay, so and it's about the Tulane Green Wave, and it's about LSU, and it's about New Orleans sports. Shout out to Southern University also. So Louisiana sports. Okay, so I'm out of here, y'all. I want to thank y'all once again